Good morning, everyone. When you first discuss EVs with people that aren't familiar with them, one of the biggest questions that come up is how much range you can actually get out of a particular EV. And as many of you would know, I have the Kona. And I've had it for a month now, and it's gotten to the point where I'm testing to see how far I can actually go. So just a quick recap of what's happened so far with this range test. I've charged to full using my Zappy charger and solar on the 18th of August, which gave a range of 544 kilometres. You can see here I've taken a series of photos to record the distance that I've covered, and so I could compare that to the odometer to check that the distance covered is actually correct. And one night I checked if there was any vampire drain overnight, and it was the same figure, all within 1 kilometre when I came back in the morning. So that just left to do a drive today and to use up some of the remaining 199 kilometres and try and get to the charger with a low battery. When it comes to EVs, there's a standard. It's called the Worldwide Harmonised Light Vehicle Test Procedure, and that is it's a specific test that drives the car at low speeds to simulate the city, and then drives it on the highway, and that's done in a lab, and it spits out a number, and then that number's used. It's the same test for every electric vehicle, therefore you can get an idea of what range each of the EVs have, but because it's done in a lab and it's I believe it's computer controlled, you don't have traffic, you don't have the stop and start on the highway, you might have a nice run without traffic lights or that type of stuff, so sometimes it can be a little bit different in a test environment than it is in real life. And what I'm finding is the Kona has a huge range compared to what they're saying. So the Kona's WLTP is 449 kilometres. So over the last week or so, I've just been driving sensibly to test out what the range actually is, and prior to this morning I'd driven 369 kilometres, and it still said on my guessometer that I had 200 kilometres range left. So that really means that I had 570 kilometres range, which is a fair chunk higher than 449, which the test procedure points out. So this morning I've decided that I'll try and drive down to close to zero and hopefully finish at the Turnbull charger, and then we can have a look at how fast we can get that charger to as well. So at the moment, this morning I've driven up the coast on the highway, and I've done 80. I started with 199 kilometres. I've driven 81.8 kilometres, and it's saying I have 126 kilometres left of range. So that's really, start off with 199 kilometres, and now I'm at 208 kilometres range. So the guessometer is a bit of a guessometer. Maybe it's a little bit conservative. But as I drive more and do it efficiently, perhaps my overall efficiency calculations taken into account, and then therefore it gives me that little bit extra range. So I'll keep heading off and see what we get to at Turnbull. So I'll just give you a quick look at the figures, and then I'll head off, and you can have another look when we get closer to the time at Turnbull. 23% remaining. So I think Toombul is about probably 100 kilometers away. I don't want to cut it too fine and completely stuff the test. But let's see if I can actually navigate to the Toombul charger. There we go, 88.4 kilometers. So let's see how that goes.
Now trying to create those pathways between people arriving in the country and then getting into sport. There are some barriers to sport, knowing where to go and who to speak to, and of course cost will come into it as well.
So I've just turned up to the Toombul Charge Fox chargers, and here we have Duncan, who's coming on the cruise tomorrow, and Peter Taylor, who's also coming on the cruise tomorrow. Well, it's been a big day EV wise. I've managed to find out the maximum range of my Kona, and that's come in at a whopping 571 kilometers. Didn't expect it to be so high, but I think that's going to lead on to another challenge to try and tap into the 600 range. Looking forward to that. And I was really happy with how the Kona charged on the DC fast charger, managing 70, just under 76 kilowatts, and bit of a interesting chart though. Did chart it on 30-second intervals. Seemed to stop and go a bit slower than I think it probably should, but maybe I can test that another time. The other Kona owner there, that was Peter, I managed to see that, record that his actually went up to 76 and 77 kilowatts. So maybe next time, or maybe I'll have to look into that a bit more for why that happened. But yeah, really big day, and really proud of this car. It's fantastic, and I hope you've gotten some benefit out of this, and if you have, consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.